Yes, amazing, amazing, amazing. You're always beautiful people and handsome people. Yeah, you see Alan, and you know what Alan does? Makes you know things that you don't know, or things that you know but you don't know them the right way. And today I want us to talk about communication in general, maybe just episode one in terms of communication, and we'll have more stories on this as we talk about communication in general. So basically, communication is just a process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, feelings between individuals or groups. It can be one-on-one or to two people or a group of people. And every time we exchange those ideas, we expect to get feedback from the ideas that we've exchanged, or we expect to see actions out of the ideas we've exchanged. So the feedback might be in terms of actions of words, either words or actions, or a fulfillment of the desire that you had when exchanging that idea. So that is basically communication. It involves transmission and reception of information. It involves transmission and reception of a message through various channels. You receive, then you take the information is received, and people receive, and there's the way they will encore the message that you've given them. So this is through talking. The way I'm talking to you, I'm passing an information to you. If I knew the sign language, I'll do the sign language. I'm still passing the information to you. I know you can see all these wrinkles on my forehead. I'm still passing information. If I keep quiet, then wink my right eye or left eye, I'm still communicating. If I say I'm still communicating. If I open my noses wider, I'm still communicating. If I scratch myself here, I'm still communicating. Whatever you do in any way, you're trying to communicate something that you feel or you know that you want, or you're passing a message to someone in whichever way or wherever these people are. So that is all about, communicating. And that's just a basic or basics of communication. It's too wide that we cannot talk about it for one day and finish it. Not even for 2 days and finish it, because you'll understand more and more as we continue. Different people communicating differently, different communities communicating differently, different nations, different types of communication and all that. And it's evolving. Communication is evolving. People are becoming much better, much better and yeah, much better in the way they communicate, more sophisticated in the way they communicate. A message can be passed in here, but you don't really understand what the message they're going to pass on the other end. And we cannot master everything when it comes to communications, but we can master basics in communication. Personally, with the little research I've done, I know most people like, bro, little research is still very young. What have you seen? Okay, I've seen much. And the little research and the books I've read and what I've seen and all that, I'll say everything, everything is built or is destroyed depending on the communication that was given. Communication breaks and communication builds. That's what I'm trying to say in simple terms. Communication breaks and communication builds. That is all. Better communication, well understood communication will make everything work. But if whatever you communicate is not well understood, these people will tend to do their own stuff and their own things, thinking that that is what you communicated. Those are some of the weaknesses of improper communication. We'll get into that, but for today, just talking about that. So there's the non-verbal communication that I've just mentioned. Use of signs, body movements, gestures, and all that. That is non-verbal. Non-verbal means it's not a word of mouth. Like there's no sound. There's no well-articulated words that are coming out of your mouth. But again, crying. Is crying verbal? Of course, it's verbal. Yeah, crying is verbal. You're expressing a given feeling and all that. So effective communication requires both sender and receiver, both sender and receiver to understand and interpret the message accurately. Now, that is where the most dangerous part and where the problems are when it comes to communication. The sender and the receiver must interpret that information correctly. Whatever is sent by the sender must be well and accurately understood and interpreted by the receiver so that the receiver can give a well articulated and understood or accurate feedback to that information. That is where problems comes in most of the time. Most of the time, problems comes in on that level. How do you receive that information? How do you interpret that information? And which feedback do you give back? Most of the time, the mistakes we do is I send an information to someone and I expect a given, and the person that I've sent the message to doesn't really decode that message well and accurately. They rush into giving an answer, and they're giving an answer on based on what they feel by that time, prevailing circumstances, giving an answer based on what they're feeling by that time. Then they give an answer. When it comes back unto me, I look at it like this is not my communication. So what we do most of the time is we think that people know what we think, and that is what we give them back. Given an circumstance, maybe there's little trouble, maybe here and there, then the other person feels like you're doing it because of whatever they're thinking. Then they want to try and fix their thinking in you. You get that? They are trying to fix their thinking in you. That was not intentional. Like that was not the intended meaning of the message that you sent, whether verbally, whether written, whether using body gestures and all that. Then they want to bring it to you. And this is more because of what people have gone through. Whatever you've gone through wherever you've gone, whether you're young, in your adulthood, in your youthful stage, wherever places you've gone through, and you've looked at things, and that is how they meant on the other end. When you come to the other end, it will affect you. It will affect the way you judge other things. It will affect the way you judge every information that comes your way. It will affect the way you look at everything. You might think that you know more, but that is not what is supposed to be done on the other end. And with that, I would say it's good to get all these other things. It's good to have a world view on how people react on different things, but it's not good for you to react on everything instantly and give the wrong impression. Take your time to think about that. Even the Bible would say that, be quick to hear. Be very quick to hear whatever is happening around you, but be slow to do what? To speak. Why should you be slow to speak? You're so slow to speak because you want to try and digest the information that you've received before you take an answer out. You're trying to sit down and digest. And thinking about whatever you've seen might take time. It doesn't take minutes or hours. It might take days for you to come to fully understand whatever that person meant when they were saying whatever they were saying or when they were doing whatever they were doing. And that involves me getting the information and trying to start sieving that information. Sieve my feelings out of that information, out of whatever that person did. Sieve my culture out of what that person said. Sieve whatever thinkings, books that I've read and all that out of what that person has read. Try to compare that person to different aspects of communication and all that. And from there, you will accurately get whatever this person was trying to do out of it. Most of the time, we judge people because we think whatever we think is right about them when it's not. So we judge them based on what we think, but that is not what is on their mind. And sometimes we force them to accept what we think is right about them when it's not. You get that? So communication is it's too huge and too big for us to get an understanding. But at least, as I said, basics are very good and we can understand. It's too complex to understand everything if you are that person who relies on things so fast. A very good example, I'll use this. In war, wherever there is a war, remember the two sides want people to sympathize with them. So that every side will try to do things that will make them win favor over the people, for them to be supported, so that the other side might be seen that they are evil than this other side. So there is a lot of things that happens in between. The war is not just on the battlefield, but they also nowadays they take it to social media, because social media is everything nowadays. And they're looking for sympathies on social media. And they want people to believe that whatever they are doing on the other end, the other party is bad and the other party is too evil than this other party. And remember, it's a tactic, it's a war strategy, and we have to accept it. So relying more on what is said on this other end and what is said on this other end without getting the first-hand information and approval, which you will never ever get, you might judge this other side without knowing that this other side is much worse than this. A very good example of what is happening in what has been happening in Ukraine, whatever has been happening in Russia, whatever is happening in Israel and Gaza currently. There's a lot of misinformation that's on social media, but people don't really understand. Everyone knows wherever a death of a child is involved in any war, that is a war crime. What if other people are there to use their own to make sure that other people think that the other side is wrong and the other side is not wrong? People are paid. It's called propaganda. It's called propaganda. I got the right word. It's called propaganda. People are paid. And they're always in their keyboards trying to type, trying to send pictures, tagging them, trying to give them whichever information that they want and all these other things, try to make it look like whatever they think is right, whatever they are feeding is right. But if you're not good enough to try understand all these things, you'll blame other people and start abusing them, or you also propagate that lie to other people. And people will follow it because it has been shared a million times. Who will not believe that? Who will not believe that? Who will not believe that? Most people believe it because it has been shared. Then they ask you, they're so emotional whenever they're sharing it. And whenever an emotion is attached on a picture, or a feeling is attached on a picture or a message or a video, most people who are not good, who cannot decode the message, who are not, who not control their emotions, they will attach their emotions on the same thing, and they will share it and share it and share it and ask other people to share it because of the emotion that's attached on it. Which emotion? Emotion that can make someone sympathize with you. And that is what works most of the time. And you find out that you're sympathizing with someone and sharing the wrong message because of the feeling that's attached on that message or on that video. Be careful. Be careful. So most of the time when you receive such things, try to think, reason. You're taught of common sense. Common sense is common to each and every person, but someone says it's not common to each and every person. Whatever, it's okay. But don't be an agent of trying to share the information that is not true. But that is the power of social media. If you want to win it on social media, very simple. Make emotional things. Attach whatever feelings you want to attach them. Make people feel that whatever you're trying to say is true, and make it go through. You've already won the hearts of these people. And whatever you say and every time, they will always be buying into it. It's called propaganda. Try to be careful with that. It's still communication, part of communication. I don't know why I'm getting deeper and we are just on the introduction part, but I'm just trying to open your mind so that you can understand whatever is happening. You can answer whatever is happening so that you take, you try to take precautions before you just share any video that you've been told to share. Like with this one that I'm talking to you, you can share it so that people are informed because what I'm telling you is true and it can be trusted. Yeah, it is true and it can be trusted. I'm the source. I'm saying about this. And we're only using things that we can see, comparing to things that we can see as per now. So, as we said, in a battlefield or on a battlefield, the war is not just on a battlefield. Nowadays, they take that war to social media to try to win sympathies and all that. Yep. You've seen whatever's happening. Pro-Palestinians are going everywhere trying to, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Pro-Israelis are going on, you cannot do this and this and this. So every person is taking a side. But are you sure that the side you're taking is the true side, or you're also propagating evil without knowing that you're propagating evil? Be careful with whatever you listen to and whatever you watch. Are we clear? So that is the thing. So I said every time an emotion is attached to a given video or a given photo or words, because there are people who know how to put on words that will catch your emotions. They are storytellers. They tell nice stories. You might believe that whatever they're telling you is true, and at all, there's no truth in that story. So it's up to you to try to get it. Don't get it in your head. Read it, reread it again. Relax, try to think about it. How true might this be? But I know You don't have that time to think about it. You don't have that time to try to separate all these things and put the other, this one there, emotions there, attachment there, what I feel about it there, and these other things. I know you don't have that time, but at least you should be having that time. There's always that natural attachment we'll have about things, about people and things, occurrences, and all these things that surrounds us. And sometimes we might feel so, entitled to something, and we feel like we should protect it. So every time it's someone harms it, we feel so sorry in our hearts and all that. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. But all I want you to know is it's good for you to separate all these things and come back and ask yourself, do what you call probability, probability test. How sure am I that it's happening this way? How sure am I that it's happening this way? And let's say, as I said, it will take you time. It might take you some few days and time to really understand whatever is happening. If you are not the source of that information, then you should not believe that information at the first hand. If you're not the source of that information, you should not believe it. And if you're the source of that information and you're lying to people, you should also understand, you should also understand that you're misleading other people on the other end. Are we to get on that? So that is what we're trying to say here, Nona. It plays a crucial role in building relationships. As I said earlier, if you touch emotions on road, that it plays that role. Conveying information, expressing feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions and influencing other people. Hey, come here, you want to cry. This is what my wife has done to me. All those other things. People buy into it because you shared in your tears. We are all born emotional, created emotional creatures, but you can control emotions. You can control emotions. Emotions will always manipulate people. Emotions always manipulate people, and they'll make people buy into your ideas without knowing that you're manipulating them. But again, there are people who fully understand. It's like, okay, bro, just cry. Once you're done with crying, maybe we can sit down and think about this. Do you want a handkerchief? I will give you one to wipe all your tears, but I don't want to help you wipe your tears. And after that, now we come sit down like, okay, bro, what was it? Why were you crying? Like, wasn't there any other way? I'm not saying that you should not cry when you're feeling pain. That's one expression. That's one way you express yourself, and that is just another type of communication. Again, you're trying to communicate that, oh, I'm feeling some pain over here. People might have beaten you or whatever, or you might have been emotionally abused, and that is how you're expressing how you feel deep inside. You crying is going to do it. It's just a form of communication in one or the other. But when you touch emotions on that in a way of manipulating other people, you still find a group of people who will buy into your own ideas, and it's like, this is what is happening, so we should on this side and all that. And you've seen it again and again and again and again on social medias, on your family, social media platforms, in your families, in your relationships, wherever you go, you've seen people who use that to manipulate others, especially those people who are in one way, disadvantaged in one way naturally, or maybe because of the occurrences that things that happened in their lives, or they're disadvantaged. They'll use that disadvantage to communicate something. A very good example is, I don't know if it happens in most of the cities, but at least in most of the cities that I've traveled to, within specific countries I've gone to, I've seen it, where you find these guys who are, guys with disabilities are on the streets trying to request alms. I don't want to use the word beg, because if I use the word beg, not all of them are begging. Some are begging, but some are genuine. So that's why I don't want to use the word beg. So I'll use the word trying to ask alms from people, well wishes. So if you feel for them, you'll give them. And most of the time, you've given them because you feel for their situation. They have communicated to you already. They're wearing dirty clothes. Some of them, there's a way they have seated. Some of them have pants. Some of them have whatever thing that they have that is communicating to you to show that sympathy and try to give them whatever you're giving them. But do you know, not all those cases are true? Yes, there are genuine cases and there are some that are faked. Someone fakes because I feel like, wow, nimetafuta kazi, I've been looking for a job, I've not found any job, and that is the easiest way to get money. I will do it. So it's up to you to look into the situation. Try to decode that message that person is communicating unto you, and rightfully come up or accurately come up with the correct understanding of whatever you see. Then respond to it accurately. as you're supposed to do it. You're not responding it on it because you feel for it. No, you're responding to it because you've really understood the situation that you're in and the situation that that person who sent that message is in, and now you're ready to respond on it with an accurate way. Oh, in an accurate way. A very good example in the Bible is the story, this story of these two women who came to Solomon. One had slept on her child and the child died. So she went and grabbed out the other mother's child, and then they came to Solomon, and every one of them is crying, she has stolen my child. No, that's not your child. That is my child. No, she has stolen my child. That is not my child. And someone is looking at them, it's like, oh, I think I'm trying to picture how this girl's looking onto them. Okay. So this mom says, she has stolen my child. That's my child. And they're like, no, that's my child. It's like, oh, okay. So then this guy comes up with a very good idea. Like, there's no mother who will want their child to die. So someone over here is proposing that this child should be cut into two, separated into two, so that each one of them can share a piece. And someone's like, hold on. Goja Kwans, hold on. There is no parent who would want their child to die or share their dead child, with anyone. They would rather give that child, living child, to whoever wants them, for them to take care of that child, but not kill the child. You see that wisdom? Now you get what I'm trying to say. And someone says, oh, okay, I got a solution to you guys. And the solution is, hey, soldier, come over, take the sharpest knife. Oh, I'm paraphrasing that. I'm adding some words on that. So you should not, that is not what the Bible says. But I'm just adding some words of that, trying to joke here. But as I communicate. Yeah, so bring a sword, the sharpest one. Okay, separate the child into pieces so that the other one can get a half, the other one can get it. And then the mother of the child says, no, don't do that. You rather give it to her. Rather give the child to her when the child is alive. I feel much better when the child is nurtured by someone else, but he's alive, than when the child is dead. And with that, someone says, okay, I now know. The other one, she's a fake. She's not the mother of the child. But the one who said, you should not keep the child, is the mother of the child. Give her the child. You see how the case was solved? That's what I'm trying to say. You're trying to accurately look onto whatever is happening. And once you've seen whatever is happening around and all that, you try to separate your feelings and emotions out of that. Then you'll accurately come up with a solution to the problem that is in between you and whatever is happening. But if you don't look at it that way, most of the time you'll fail. And you'll give a biased information on the same, and you still want people to clap for you. It might work for today. If you give a lie, it will work today, but tomorrow, you still have to find another lie to pull up on the lies that you said yesterday. So you will be living a life that is full of lies, or a life that is a lie. You'll be living a lie in general, in short. But at a given point, the truth will always come out. So that is what I'm trying to say. So whenever you're touching emotions on these, you should understand that people are getting it out. Good communication skills are essential in personal, professional, and social settings to ensure effective and meaningful interactions. Good communication skills. The word skills. Skills. When you put skills there, that means that you learn them. We are not born with those skills. We are only born with the talents. But with our talents, we improve them. So it's something that you're learning. You learn by making mistakes, but you learn from your own mistakes, and you become better the next time. Yep. For you to be a communication guru or a communication expert, it's because you've learned, and you're ready to say, no, with that one, I don't understand more about it. Let me go and do more research, then I'll come back and answer you on this. You get that? Yeah, I know you're getting me. So you're not born a guru. You're not born a guru on that. No. You're not born an expert on that. No. You're not born a sensei on that. No. We are learning. So it's a skill that we develop each and every time. And these skills are helping us in our relationships, where we're working, in our personal lives, and socially, how do you relate with other people? Communication. In trying to understand what other people are feeling about whatever you're doing. It's as simple as that. But it's very tricky because most of the time we don't get it right. But at least you should go back and try to ask yourself, what have I done wrong that I need to correct? Yeah, in terms of communication. I like joking so much, by the way. And sometimes I'm joking with people on the road, on the streets, new people that I'm meeting, is like, oh, this guy doesn't get my joke. Yeah. Maybe my jokes are so intelligent that they cannot get it. Yeah. It's like you're trying to say hi, but the emotions of that people at that moment, they're not in a mood to say hi back to you. And some of them will abuse you. It's not wrong. It's how they feel. You don't understand whatever they're going through by that moment. You should not be angry at them. It's like, hey, bro, why are you abusing me? I just said hi. Why are you abusing me? No, understand them. Understand them. And try to give them time. Next time when you meet them again, try to say hi. If they say hi, say hi back. If they say hi back to you, and then you fully understand now, oh, by that time that guy was not in good moods. You think, hey bro, there's a time I tried to say hi to you, but you really abused me. What was happening to you? You get that. And that is how we improve on our communication. So for every communication to be effective, for us to be so much effective in our communication, we need to have we need to do what we call active listening. And active listening is simply listening. Yeah, I'm listening to you actively. I'm not answering, I'm not talking back, but I'm just listening to you. I'm just paying attention to whatever you're telling me. I'm not talking to you and then I have my phone. I'm trying to go through my phone. I know men, women would say we can, they'll say that they're what? This word that they usually say, or they can do different things at the same time and all that. But that's a lie. That's a lie. And that's where they mess a lot because you're talking to them, they're doing blah, 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 blah. They don't really, like, I'm talking to you. There is what you'll hear from my mouth, but there is what my facial expressions and body movements will show you. So if you're not paying attention onto all those aspects of communication, then you're not getting me right. You get that? I can't be crying, but I'm crying as a smile. You get that? But I'm smiling. That means I'm faking my cry. I might be talking to you, telling you, I love you, but on this other end, my eyes are not communicating that love to you. I might be in my words, I sound like I care, but on my face is frowny. It's like, yeah, I care. It's like, yeah, I care. You get that? The communication is very different. Whatever is coming out of my mouth is not what is on my face. So there are question marks in that communication. So you cannot tell me that, you're communicating to someone, but you cannot look into their face and their body movement, facial expression and body movement, and you still want to say that you understood. You never understood anything. That's a lie. A big lie. So active listening involves you paying attention to whatever that person is telling you. You're not just hearing it, but you're also seeing it, looking into them, trying to know, looking at their body posture, facial expressions, the body movements. They might suggest something that, that they are not saying, but it's happening. So if you do away with that, then you've not communicated anything. So don't tell me that you can multitask. No, not in communication. Yeah, not in communication. Pay attention. That's what I'm trying to ask. Then there is asking questions, and you're not giving verdicts, or you're not. This is where we do most of the problem. This is where most of the problems comes in. And someone is telling you the story. Okay, someone is in trouble somewhere, trying to ask you, or not trying to explain to you. Then you want to start coming up with solutions. Like, who told you that this person might have not tried whatever you're telling them? It's like, bro, do this and this and this and this and things will be better. No, that is not how you actively listen. You ask questions, and the question you need to ask on that is, hey, bro, have you considered this and that? Have you done this and that? Have you get that? Have you employed this strategy? Don't think that you own everything. It's you who understands more than them. No. As I said, we're not gurus in communication. We're not experts. We're not senseis in communication. No, we're not. We are all learning each and every day. So you're giving a suggestion. That's how you ask questions. Like, have you tried this? Have you done this and that? Have you done this and that? That's how people open and say, hey, bro, whatever you like with that one, I've tried it, but it has failed. I've tried several times, but it has failed. And every person's situation is different from your situation. Okay, whatever happened to person X is so different from person X. As much as they might look like there are some similarities in them, you don't look at it that way. Are we clear on that? We're clear. So that is actively listening and trying to clarify doubts to ensure that you have understood the message correctly. How do you clear doubts? Hey, bro, you're telling me this. Did I hear you right when you said, is this what you meant when you said 1, 2, 3? Let them tell you, no, that is not what I meant. Let them clarify. Don't listen to me, then leave, then thinking that you have understood me. You have not understood me. You have understood whatever you wanted to understand out of whatever I told you. So that is your own understanding, not from me. And that is another mistake that we do when we're communicating to people, with people. We listen, not actively. We're not clearing the doubts that we have about it, but we still want to go out and say, nimemsikiza, what have you had? Nothing. So all these questions that I've said, we're giving suggestions. We're not telling them what to do because their situation is different, very unique. We are clearing doubts. Try to ask them, is this what you meant when you said 1, 2, 3, 4? Let them say yes or no. If that is what they meant, then you're good to go. But don't leave judging. I know most of the time we want to judge from what we've had, but we've not clarified the information. And that is where things fail. Okay. So nonverbal communication, body languages, we've talked about this, and facial expression play a crucial role in communication. Maintaining eye contact, smiling and using appropriate gestures can help you understand and convey your information correctly. Are we clear on that? Yes. I know they're very simple things that you went through in college, but you've forgotten them. Like what we learn and what we practice are two different things. You get that? It's very important for us to note all these things and just try to bring them where they're supposed to be brought and try to talk more about them. That is it. But if we try to avoid them, then, as I said, we either missing, communicating the wrong things or not even communicating. But at least there's a communication that be sent. You might be here trying to, your heart is so clean, you're trying to send a clean message, but whoever is receiving them receives them wrong because of the body movements and the gestures that you did and the facial expressions that was attached on those words that you were trying to say. Yep. So let's try to work on that. Then I said clarity and correctness is what consensus. Clarity and correctness is what is needed on that. How are you clear with whatever you're trying to say? If you need to repeat it again and again, repeat it with the very, very, very words that you used from the beginning. Because the moment you change words, there are people who receive those words differently. Different communities use different words differently. Okay, words give them different meanings and all that. There are names that are used on the other end. If you use them on the other end, they're not. So you also need to be so conscious of these other people. or whoever is receiving the information. So when you see their facial expressions, like their frown is like, what did you say? You can tell someone sometimes like, you need to know whatever you've said. It's like, why? You need to ask a very simple question. Okay, can you make me understand why you are shocked of what I said? Make me understand on why you're shocked or whatever I said. They'll tell you, wow, do you know what that word means? It's like, oh, I don't know, but I'm open to learn. You get that? I don't know and I'm open to learn. Can you educate me on that? They will tell you, oh, that word that you used in this area, when you use it in this manner, it means this and this, and it's an abuse. Or when you use it in this manner, it's not supposed to be used to this kind of people. When you're talking to elders, please don't use those words. When you're talking to children, please don't use those words. When you're talking to women, please don't use those words. And now with that one, you have a clear understanding on how you need to communicate wherever you're in that place. But most of the time, we don't care. Yeah, do you have time to care? You don't care. You think you've communicated and then you go. Yeah, there are some words that are socially accepted in a given culture, but they're not socially accepted in another culture. Yeah, so that is what we need to understand. I could have used some of them of those words, but I don't want to use them now. We'll get them later as we continue. And then being empathetic means understanding the other person's perspective, as I said, perspective and feelings. You get that? And trying to understand their perspective and feelings. And I've used all these examples. You get that? I've just used an example here. You say something, then someone's like, what? Oh, okay. I've seen you try to do this and that. Have I hurt you? Or have those words that I've said, do they remind you of something? Or, you see, that's how you're playing with it. You try to understand whatever, because whatever you said is trying to bring up a given occurrence in this person's life. And if you're not so keen to that, they will close up on you. People ain't the one not speak up. And with that, you'll have not communicated anything. They're shut down completely. So, as I said, we need to be so clear and understand whatever you're trying to say. Then, as we said, in communication, without a feedback, then you've not communicated anything. Without a feedback, you've not communicated anything. Then another thing is we are flexible. Flexibility, I've talked about this, but yeah, flexibility means that you're ready to go down and say, okay, I don't know more on this. I need to learn on this. So I'm not so sure on that. Let me go do more research on that and come back and communicate. And this comes in when you receive an information. Don't just send it immediately, as I said earlier. Try to get the truth out of that information before you communicate it to the next person, lest you be spreading propaganda that will hurt and kill someone without you knowing. So it's good to hold some information back. As much as people are telling you share, try to hold it. For a few hours, minutes, try to understand, is it true? You can make a few calls and try, nimeambiwa, okay, I've been told this is what is happening over there and there. Is it true? We've not heard about that. We've not seen that. It's like, okay, so then try to get information from another person. Like, try to get different sources to get the information, whether this information is true or not, before you transfer it to the next person. Don't just stop transferring it, because you might be hurting and killing people without knowing that you're doing that. Be careful on that. Are we clear? Yes, we're clear on that. Yeah, that's another thing. Someone said, if you say a lie, if you say a lie repeatedly with a lot of confidence, people will believe it's true. And this is what is killing the world so much. There are few people who have mastered that art. They are so good in that. And they will use every resource they have to push and push and push and push and push and push their lies. And because it has been said again and again and again and again and again with the multitudes of people, we will think that whatever is happening is true, or whatever is being said is true. Then you go find books, what they've written all that nonsense in those books, and you read those books and believe it. Hey, this is true. This is true. Have you clarified that information to know whether it's true or not? I know you don't have time to think about it, but I'm asking you to have that time to think more on that, because it's affecting you in one way or another. There are stories that we've been told. We said information in some cultures, most of the cultures, information was shared through storytelling. And this person is telling a story that they were told. And that person who told them that story was also told the same story. And that person told them, also told the same story. So that story has a lot of breakups, filtered, someone added emotions, what they feel about it, and all that. So when it's getting to the fourth generation, it might not be the real story that was told by the first person who told that story, the first eyewitness. So you just believe in it and work with it? No. Try that information. Yeah. I'll finish with this. I'll finish this part with this part one on this. There's this story of someone went to visit someone somewhere, and they found that person has cooked tilapia, prepared tilapia in halves, just prepared tilapia in a very good way, but that tilapia in halves. Then this person asked, hey, why couldn't you have cooked the whole tilapia? And he said, no, this is how I was trained to do what? To cook tilapia. This is how we do it from our home. We were told never to do it that way. Who taught you to do that? Mom taught me to do that. Okay, my parents taught me to do that. And who taught your parents to do that? Their parents taught them to do that. And like, this is what we've been doing in our lineage. In our culture, this is what we do. Then you go to ask them, like, why should you do that? The pan is big enough to hold the whole tilapia. And I prefer eating the whole tilapia. In my culture, it's simple. It's easy for us to do the whole tilapia. Like, as the head of the house, I don't need a half tilapia. I need the whole tilapia. You get that? It's like, oh, we don't do that. If it was in marriage, that would bring a problem. Okay, here we go. We'll talk about communication in marriage later. But if it was in marriage, that will bring a problem. Like, I'm the head of the house. This is how we train where I come from. No man eats a half a tilapia or a quarter tilapia. It should be full. But you're cooking me a half, and you're telling me that is how you're training your culture. Like, doesn't complete. Yeah, yes, whatever, communicated. Yes. And then if you go deeper to ask that story, I say that the first person, okay, the great-great-grandparents or the people who founded, okay, the first people, the ancestors of those people were fishermen. And they had no big saucepans to cook the whole tilapia. They had small saucepans. So they were not enough to cook the whole tilapia. So the simplest way to prepare tilapia for their people was to cut it into pieces. You get that? Because the pot was small. But because that culture has been transferred to the next and next and next and next generation without accuracy in it, people think that is how it should be done. And sometimes when you do it the other way around, they'll feel like you're breaking their norms. Like it's abnormal for it to be done that way. And because it is abnormal, they cannot do it. Then who is failing? We are all failing because we don't want to go back to get the right information. But if you go back to get the right information, we have all that we want. And that's what I'm asking all of us. Before we share the information that we are sharing, are you so sure that that information, the right information? Because we've transferred information to our children that is not right. And we keep on telling them the same things, and whatever we're telling them, it's not right. We're creating or we're growing rage in them. We're growing vengeance in them. We're growing bitterness in them. We're growing, name all these bad things that we're growing in them without knowing that's the seed that we're planting in our children. Then later, when they start showing the fruits, we'll be the first people to start pointing fingers onto our children or other people. Look at you. But we never knew from the beginning this is what we've been planting and cultivating in the lives of our children. So before you share that information, kindly make sure that you got the right facts about that information. And if you don't have facts, don't even open your mouth to talk about it. It's wrong. Are we clear on that? Yes, that is the end of our part one on communication. We just talked about communication generally. So now, part two, we'll be talking about, we start, subtopics on communication and all that and get to wherever we can get ourselves, and to make sure to subscribe and share this information so that every person gets informed on whatever is happening and they make the right choice and communicate effectively to the people who are listening and to them, as I am communicating effectively and to you guys. Love you all. Until next time we meet on part 2 of this communication skills. Bye.